Welcome to Center Hice Productions, September 16th, 2023. Please hit the likes and the subscribe below. Be muchly appreciated. Tell your friends and family. Try to get the word around. Let's try to get 150 likes. And the subscriptions would be nice as well, just to grow the channel. Anyway, this is about this afternoon's game. Game 2. How would the Habs respond in Game 2 of the Prospects games? And they were playing the Bruins today. And there was a rotation in the lineup. You could see a change of lineup big time. Beck wasn't playing today. Today's lineup was totally like a lot of juggling going on. Okay, so we'll explain from there. We had Simoneau, Massar, Heineman on line 1, Davidson, Mysak, Roy on line 2, Smilanak, and Kidney, Novik on line 3, DeFort, Goudon, and McKay. And the switch up on defense was Struble was in, Trudeau was out. So Struble was with Logan Mailloux, Ortiz with Torigny, and Demon with Laudon. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but that's my best shot. Probably butchered it. And then we had Quentin Miller in nets today. So that was a total switch up. We had a couple no Sean Farrell, no Beck, and no Trudeau. Trudeau was definitely and Beck had a good showing, and Heineman had a good showing in game 1. Other than that, and Dosh or Dosh, they seem to say Dosh for the pronunciation of his name. He took a lot of flack for that game, and he really in that Buffalo game stood on his head. And I feel bad for him because even just seeing the difference in the team today compared to last night was worlds of difference. However, don't get your hopes up too high, Habs fans, because I'll tell you what, it's the usual case of think about it. We know the Sabres have had higher prospects. It just shows you where they are. They're definitely ahead of the Habs. They've got a lot of speed on that team, a lot of talent. Whereas you can see the Bruins be picking lower a lot, and it's showing. But we barely, really, that 4-1 score was very deceiving. It looks like it was a big score. However, I'd have to say it wasn't as big of a gap as that game easily could have went the other way. If we had our defense play much tighter today, which was good to see in response. However, I got to commend certain players today. Mysak, and he played all right in game 1 as well. He wasn't bad. I just fear that his size could be an issue. He was really good today. He's kind of stood on his head today, I would say. Very, very solid game from him. And Waugh looked better today, a better response than game 1. However, I still think he needs a year in Laval. He's got a beautiful shot, and we know he's got the IQ. But if you watch closely, there is a bit of foot speed issues. But he had a way better game. So I think they over-ramped it in saying how he was kind of one of the biggest reasons they won today. He was good, okay? But he wasn't as good as what was being reported. Little bit, and this is what I don't like about French media. They go overboard. And he was good, a big improvement, and it was nice to see. However, he needs a year in Laval because he does need that foot speed. That's the one knock I have against his game is his foot speed. I heard about this, was wondering if he had done anything. He needs to work on it even more. Whether he had addressed it in the summer. So, like I said, the French media is going berserk with this, and sorry to say, he had a good game, and I like Waugh. I'm in his corner, and I think he's one of the guys that has a chance down the road to make the Habs, for sure. no doubt. As long as he works on that foot speed, though, he's definitely one of the guys. That Heineman, Messer, Simino line looked very good together. Heineman, consistent. It was consistency. It wasn't an outstanding game, but it was consistent. He played well, still, just not outstanding. There seems to be a lot of attention drawn to Heineman, and he plays a muckier game than the rest of the Habs that I find up front. And Messer played a better game. And he didn't play bad last game. He wasn't one of the biggest problems last game, but played much better today. And Simino had a great first period, but he kind of dropped off a little bit in the second and third period. This is where he dropped off a tad bit. However, his game one was great, and the first period was pretty good. And he just started dropping. I don't know if fatigue caught up to him or what. Smilanic, what a great addition that was to today's lineup. He was all over the place. You've seen him everywhere. Great, and a great story. It seems like this is somebody we hadn't thought about, and good to see he had a great game and played well with Kidney and Novak. And Novak had a good game. This line was incredible, and this is a shocker too. Kidney has really been quite. He had a good first game and even better game today. He was really noticeable. So this was something I say you could almost add Kidney into the formula. That I think he's got a better chance than um, Farrow, to be honest, I've ever caught in the Habs line. And it's still a long ways to go. Then we had DeFort and Godin and McKay, and that seemed to be working well today too. That Godin seems to have been playing all right in both games. A lot better in this game though. However, Struble, what a difference. This and I gotta say, have to tip my hat up to Mayu. He was probably one of the worst players in game one, and what an incredible turnaround. Much better game. Much better game. Now, mind you, I still say he's got work to do. He still needs time in Laval. I honestly would have to say Barron has nothing to worry about as far as being threatened by Mayu right now. Not this year. Maybe next year. Uh, a big improvement. However, there are holes in his defensive game. So yeah, a big improvement. I was glad to see the response. We needed to see that type of response from him because he was just dreadful last night. And so then we had Otia and Torney, and Ortia seemed to play pretty good. He was doing a bit of hitting. Demon, a little bit shaky. This Demon kid, not bad for somebody just out of college. And I can never say Laquan or Logan. I didn't really notice him, to tell you the truth. However, I think he must have covered for Devon. And Miller played good. What I liked about Miller is he settled the play down very quickly. Anything that came around that, he was settling it down. He kept himself fairly square. But I have to say, I think, you can't knock Dosh for last night's game because I think Miller could have been slaughtered in that game as well because the defense just wasn't there last night. There was, like I said, overall the defense was just horrific, which was supposed to be our strong point. But last night didn't show. And I got to say, right now, I know our prospect pool is supposed to be deeper on the blue line. Uh, hmm, I don't know. We do got to start working on size because to me, Trudeau and Struble are our biggest threats in making the Canadians. If someone was to jump in, however, I don't know if they're going to be able to because I believe they're both on the same side on the left side. That's kind of a I mean, they got a shot, but I think they both can get in the NHL. However, I think Struble's a definite, and Trudeau, I pretty much think he is pretty solid too. That Struble, though, I think is just a bit ahead. And Mayu definitely paired better with Struble, so that was a good response. by the coaching staff. Much better pairing. It's evident those two got some chemistry. It seems like Struble was able to settle Mayu down and get Mayu to start using his weight, which is what a big boy like that needs to do. So it was good there. Miller, like I said, had a good game in net. Again, it was very good, but blown out of proportion in a bit. Yes, it was a very sensible game. He played a smart game, but his defense was there for him. That was the difference between last night. You can't blame goaltender for last night's game. So yeah, and again, the bandwagon just jumping down who they want to give credit to, and again, I just think we've seen, and again, Logan Mayu, yes, he was better, but they blew him out of proportion too tonight, giving him some. I think his response was great, played way better game. Struble was the best defenseman, hands down, not even questionable. So that's, again, I don't like the way the media blows these things because I'll be honest with you right now. To me, there's not a defenseman on the team right now that's going to break Montreal's lineup that I've seen. I think Struble, of course, is the closest. Trudeau right behind him. After that, nobody. Not even close. So, really, to me, I see consistency out of Hyndman, and he plays a good, gritty game. And I think with more talent, I think around him, it's going to be that much more noticeable when he's with the regular squad of Montreal, with the regular boys. And so consistency, he seemed to dwindle off a little bit as the game went on. Maybe fatigue was catching in, I don't know. Massar was kind of the same scenario, started off strong and started to dwindle just a little bit. Semino, like I say, Semino started great in the first period, where the other two held up a little better than Semino. Semino was the one, strangely enough, drifted up, and he had such a great first game. He was a standout, but he definitely showed major fatigue. I would think is probably fatigue or rust. Like Kidney, Atlantic, and Norvac, that line was beautiful. And Kidneys, I would have to say, we know Heineman and Owen Beck are the two that I've seen so far play that it's quite clear they have the best shot. If somebody's going to crack the lineup, it's going to be one of those two, or both of them. They're, and I still say, for Beck, he played an exceptional game one. Well, pretty good, him and Heineman. I think he still needs to beef up, although I did see some. He looks a little beefier than last time I seen him, so that's good news. But those two, from what I've seen out of the Habs prospects so far, are the only two that have a real shot at cracking Montreal's lineup. Now the goaltenders, it's going to be interesting because again I say we can't judge uh, Dosh for last night because his team sucked terribly in front of him. It was one of the worst performances I've seen. They looked like they should have been uh, in Bantam hockey. They were that bad. They just looked so like they didn't belong. But it did also show, and I do believe we should caution ourselves because and not get over pumped because we beat the Bruins 4-1. That score was a little deceiving. You had an empty netter in there as well. And like I say, one thing I can say about Roy, he's got a great shot, and like seeing his snipes. Very well done. It's his foot speed that you can still see. He's a little sluggish in transitioning. So I think that's something he does have to work on. So I do think Waugh is probably after Heineman and Beck, um, probably with Kidney and My Sack, it's just such a shame that he's so small because he played good game one and he played really good tonight. So a really good showing from him. Davison had a half decent game. The team was much better all the way around, and Godin just seems to be plugging in, just playing. He's just playing consistent. That's what I could say for him. Showing up, and that's a good sign for him. But however, I think the team, like I said, well, that's all we wanted them to do is show up and be respectable, and they did. So I'm guessing that we're probably going to have a couple guys like probably Hyndman and Messar and Waugh possibly could be out of the lineup for the next game, something like that. So don't be surprised if that's how game three or something like that. I don't know, or Kidney or Smilanek or not Smilanek, Simino. Somebody's going to probably be pulled out of the lineup. And to me, Simino looked very tired. So I didn't really notice McKay to any big degree. So from there, and like I say, the third pairing defense needs work. That's for sure. I didn't like the third pairing defense. So with that saying, great job by the guys. They did perform well, but be cautious, Habs fans. This is remember, Boston's got a weaker prospect unit, whereas they've been so high in the standings. You can see the difference in quality where Buffalo's picked at the top of the pack for so long, and it shows. And it just definitely shows they're that much farther ahead than the Habs. They've got super talent. Like Savoie was just incredible, and so was uh, Benson, or whatever you want to call him, Benson, I believe, and that Lindgren fella. The three of them were very effective, and it definitely that squad shows resilience and a whole lot more speed, and the Habs just weren't able to measure up to that speed and that talent. They just couldn't contain it. But anyway, they did much better against the Bruins. Let's see how they do against the Sens, and because the Sens got a good system too. It's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Where's the puck drop first here at Center Hice? Don't forget it, and hit the likes, subscribe, get your friends, and tell people about it. And until the next episode, we will catch you after the next prospects game, which I believe is Monday, I think. Anyway, this was two in one day because I couldn't get the first one out quick enough because of the storm here. The Wi-Fi had disconnected, so I apologize for that, but it got out anyway. So that's two in one, not far apart. Thank you very much, and God bless.